is yours.
Everybody, welcome to the Burn It Down NASCAR podcast. We've got a very special show for you tonight. In view of everything that's happened, but we have a blast from the past. I want to introduce Mr. Mark. He's agreed to join us tonight, and I want to give a little history here. Mark and I, back before Facebook was a thing, started our own little. We didn't even know what podcast meant back then. It was not a word.
Internet radio.
Internet radio. And we worked for a website that I won't mention because they've gone on to bigger and better things. But we did a weekly podcast for, I don't know, 3-4 years. It was
at least 4.
Yeah. And it was probably a good 14-15 years ago, but we had a good time, and I dug him out of the closet, and here he is.
Thanks for having me. This is going to be fun.
So, guys, let's just do it here. Results from Martinsville. Christopher Bell punches his ticket for the second time in the chase to advance, which was amazing.
Lower your camera a little bit.
Lower it. I'm sorry. Now you made me turn it off.
No, you're good. Yeah.
All right. Kyle Larson is second. Blaney was third. Chastain was fourth. Hamlin fifth. Logano sixth. Byron was seventh. Bubba Wallace, big surprise, was eighth. Chase Briscoe was ninth. And Chase Elliott rounded out the top 10. Some notables, Martin Truex disappointing in 20th position as he loves this track. Kyle Busch in 29th.
He's just riding around to get to the 8. He doesn't give a fuck.
You're probably correct.
He doesn't care. He one more race and I'm out of this fucking hellhole.
And
he's been awful quiet on Twitter.
Yeah, well, he's got business things to do.
Yeah, he's got a lot of.
And Tyler Reddick in 35th, and we'll get into that later in the show. Hang on here, I got to switch screens. Our final 4 going into Phoenix is going to be Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, and Chase Elliott. So we've swept all that off the table.
I have 2 of the 4 from the original 16. I have right 2 of the 4.
2 of the 4. I haven't checked that.
I had Elliott, Larson, Logano, and Harvick were my original 4 pick.
I'll have to look at that.
So I was 50% right, so that's not bad. I thought Harvick would have gone more on a tear, but that SHR has been on a shit.
I have 3. The only one that didn't make it that I picked from the original is Blaney. But because we have our special guest here and we want to chew things up pretty good, I'm going to forego everything else and go straight in to the whole Ross Chastain thing. I'm going to set it up a little bit here, and then I'm going to kind of back out and let you guys chew it up. We all saw it. We all know what he did. The only thing I want to say before I let you guys go back and forth is I actually saw a post where he should have been disqualified for failing to maintain speed. I'm like,
where? He exceeded it.
Freaking kidding me? He set a new track record.
He set a new track record for NASCAR. There is a modified that did faster at 18.7.
He did 18.6.
He did 18.8.
18.8, yes.
Yeah, there is so modified did one back. He is a NASCAR holder, and that'll never be changed because.
All right, guys, go.
Do you want me to play the video with the audio of? Or a video of that first? I can.
I guess you. Yeah,
everybody's already seen what we're talking about because here it is. We're on Tuesday. That was Sunday, and it's literally the biggest talk of every. So, I want to try to give like I said, video and audio of something people've never seen. And yeah, obviously this is tweeted out on their socials, but like like you said, and this is cool to see how people their instant reactions of in-car and spotter. So if you want to, I can do that, and then we can just feed off of that.
Okay. I'm good with it.
Okay, let me play it. It's like you said, it's 2 minutes.
It's 2 minutes, yes.
Give me a second to play it and go from there.
Ross, rub the fence outside of you, outside. Holy cow. I guess it does work. Holy do you see that? Oh my God. Oh my God, coming to the checkered flag. I can't believe what I just saw. That's literally the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. That was straight video game. That was incredible. Watch one ripping the outside wall of the fence. Holy unbelievable. Wow. I'm pretty sure he got in with that. That's the damnedest thing I've ever seen to one done. What's the one doing? He was trying to play hold it wide open and go. He did it. That is insane. Did he pass people doing that? Yeah, he got in the Final Four doing that. Holy come in checker gap of one. Cover your bottom up off. What in the hell? We're in. Good job. He put it on the fence and went wide open there. I don't know if he beat the... Yeah, he did. He beat the freaking... Beat the 11. Let's do one outside over here. Outside. I guess we just lost on that. Well, I've never seen anything like it, but Bell wins. He's in. And the one Hail Mary defense in 3 and 4 and got it. Wow. Did all I could do, Chris. 2 spots here. Gotta get him? Yeah, gotta get him. Need 2. Keep coming, hang on, man. Checkered flag. Nice and easy. Keep it up against the fence there. Talk to me, boys. You made the transfer! Man! That was f***ing ridiculous, dude! That was wild, man. That was wild. Holy cow. Oh my God! I don't know how long you've been sitting on that move, but that was f***ing incredible. Dude, that was badass. Good job, guys.
I think the coolest part of that is seeing Ross Chastain seeing him ask, I need 2 spots. All right, I'm going. And he hauls balls and he hugged that wall perfectly. He didn't slap it. He went perfectly into it and was gone. But yeah, I just played it. So if you guys want to talk, go ahead. Ready to go.
Go ahead, Mark.
To me, it was like, Dave, when we were little kids. Brian, you're too young. You'd never had slot cars. It was like watching slot cars. It was insane. And it's like one of the spotters. I don't know how long you've had that in your back pocket. Hell, we've all had it in our back pocket. We've been in the garage or the bowling alley. We've been drinking beers and go, man, why don't you just punch it and run it? You got to send it. And I'm like going, he sent it all right. Holy crap. And you know what's fun? Everybody goes, it's illegal. You shouldn't be able to do it. Nobody's ever done it. No, we all forgot about Carl Edwards in Kansas.
Yeah,
He tried it. That didn't work out too good. But he tried it.
He tried
it. But man, what a crazy thing. You know, and Kevin Harvick put it best on Twitter. He goes, he was the only one that wanted it that bad.
Yep.
That bad. And it was awesome. I think it's spectacular. What an amazing thing. It's probably the biggest crazy thing that's happened since Juan Montoya hit the jet dryer.
You got a point there, brother.
But I don't think it's nearly as viral as that because you know SportsCenter's got the top 10. That was a not top 10 SportsCenter because what he did. But I agree that was popular. But this, I think, I don't even know what the views are, at least on the Twitter video. But it was 4 million views in 24 hours. So this lit NASCAR on fire. And if they don't capitalize on it, they're fucking idiots.
Oh, I don't know what else they could do. I mean, it was just, I'm speechless in a lot of ways to it. I sat and watched it for 2 freaking hours.
It's at 10.1 million views right now. Just to let you know.
Yeah, it's insane. And man, for a guy that looks like a Neanderthal, he sure is pretty popular this week.
I didn't realize his lazy eye was that fucking bad until they did the post race conference interview. I was like, holy shit. Was that from
He
the?
kind of looks like Bubba Gump's white brother. Because he said he's got his jaw sticking out like this. I got big gums.
Uh,
but man, he's winning it.
Oh, how bad do you want to do it? Get it to do what that man did.
And you know the biggest thing is he had that lull in the middle of the year where he was just kind of floating around because he was too aggressive and everybody was whining about it and getting mad. He doesn't drive any worse than some of the others do. They're just surprised that he was the one doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and it just so happened to be against Denny.
Right. Well, and that's where I was going with that is Denny Hamlin handled this. It was a whole effort of shock and awe.
Yeah.
He probably needed to clean his pants when he was done with it. But he's just standing there going, what the hell?
Yeah, he was so flabbergasted he didn't know what to say or do.
And I fully expected him to kind of go off the chain again about he's got his list and all he's going to do. But what he did is he actually characterized their competition during the race as being just part of short track racing. So Denny got back on my, okay, you're not all an idiot. It's just because Denny can dish it out just as much as anybody else, but he just likes to choose to whine about it from time to time. That was his opportunity to fulfill the whinologist within him, but it was cool. I'm glad he handled it the way he did. Poor Christopher Bell.
Yeah.
I mean, kid's up there waving the flag, and he's all excited, and he should be. Like you said, that's 2 wins to advance in a season. And you want to talk about momentum. I mean, that kid's got a ton of it, and he's sitting there with the checkered flag, and everybody's still screaming and hollering, pointing at the video board and laughing about Chastain. So it was an amazing chain of events. Amazing.
Yes, I agree completely. I watched a lot of, in the past day or two, reaction videos, and everybody was just blown away, flabbergasted, in awe, and every fan loved it, obviously.
Reddit's got some morons.
Because they're morons. That's where the morons go.
Because they're morons. But it's been an interesting read. And then I sat and listened to Dale Jr.'s podcast last night, and they had Steve Letarte, and it was an amazing, amazing podcast. And they talked about it never would have been successful before this year because of the way the body panels are built on this new car, the way that the fenders stick out beyond the tires, and the older cars would never have subjected themselves to that type of an impact and force. So it was also the perfect storm for things to fall into place for him. At the same time, I'm going, what if the minute he came off that corner and that car jumped left?
Mm-hmm.
Then what would have happened? There's no inside safer barriers. That was the only thing. I don't even want to be that naysayer. There were people that were talking about it, but that's also part of racing too. So,
well, Chase Elliott was the little bitch in all of this.
Larson.
It was Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson.
Well, yeah, but Chase Elliott as well. And their negative
because the spotlight went off of them. As much as I like them, the spotlight's moving off of them, and they like the spotlight on them. They're past 2 champions and Hendricks, winning guys. So just because you didn't do the move, tough shit.
Right. That's a good point. I read something this morning. They had a thing. Can either of you, and maybe you've already seen it, do you have any idea how much faster he was going at the exit of 4 than the other cars at the exit of 4?
He was going like, what, 100?
He was going 60 miles an hour faster than the other cars in the bottom group.
I know.
60 miles an hour.
I know he passed a bunch of people real fast.
He passed 6 cars. It was amazing. It's like I said, it looked like a slot car.
Well, like
Insane.
Brian said, he was on the back stretch when the chatter started with, you need 2, and he's like, I need 2. He's like, they're like, yeah, you need, and one of the coolest things about, to me, the whole thing is I don't know this, but it was like almost something that they had run through and talked about, because while he was doing it, his
The spotter was going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. I was like,
keep going. Is like he wasn't surprised at all.
they got all this simulator work. Somebody's tried it. And how do you know they didn't have a fun night and drank about 2 cases of beer as a team, and they're all taking turns in the simulator, and somebody hung a right by mistake, and they're going, son of a bitch. That might work. And then somebody put it in their pocket. You never know. They could have been on a big old bender. Who knows? But it was crazy. Absolutely crazy. And then I don't know if you saw just this afternoon, Steve Phelps, the president of NASCAR, came out and everybody's like, are you going to make a rule change? He goes, he didn't break any rules, and we don't think we should have to implement a rule 35 races into the season. And I'm like, hell you fucking Eula. Back in the day, Mike Helton would have said, well, now we got to put a stop to that, boys, and they'll put something down. And so kudos to NASCAR, too.
Well, I heard Steve Bannon this morning, O'Bannon, on the morning drive, and Pistone and Bagley asked him the same thing, and he's like, said the same answer. He didn't break a rule. He kept speed, and what do you want us to do? And then they asked him, well, are you going to change anything for Phoenix? He says, no, we're not going to do it.
Wow.
If you want to take that chance, basically is, boys have at it.
Yep. It was funny. There was a tweet this afternoon, and it was from Justin Marks, and he's a great follow on Twitter, and he put up a GIF file of John Candy and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and they had that old Woody station wagon, and they had gone through that hell ride through the tunnel, and they're standing there. They're like this. They're standing there going, and the car's all scraped up, and then he just and Justin Marks, all he said was, huh. That's the best. I freaking love it. Who cares? We made it to the final freaking 4.
He did what he had to do.
Yep, absolutely.
And you know what? Again, over the last several weeks, I've been very vocal about Denny Hamlin and what a jerk that I think he is. He got a little bit of respect back for me.
That's what I was saying earlier too. He doesn't get a lot of it back, and over our years together,
just a little bit,
just enough so that next week he'll do something fucking stupid and make me just wad it up and throw it over his shoulder. Something.
Brian, you want anything? I'm not sure what you're doing there.
Nothing. I'm good. No, I just been listening. Like I said, it's just a huge thing right now, and it's I don't know what NASCAR is gonna do, because there was an after interview that Joey Logano said is, this opens a can of worms now. So at Martinsville, is that
Blaney said the same thing.
So is that a can of worms that's gonna be, is that gonna be a move that can be used every time in Martinsville or even Bristol or whatever track they want, just full send into the corner? So I
think that if it's a scenario like this, I don't think somebody would be willing to do this early on in the season.
A win's a win to get you into the championship. I think it is.
When you need to do something to get into the championship, I didn't have a problem with it. And I'd love to see it again. Now there's two more
Joey
things.
Logano saying something like that. You remember the nickname we had for Joey Logano?
Sliced
Dart
bread.
Dart without feathers.
Feathers, yes.
So you let little Dart without feathers make a comment about how crazy that is, and look at the bullshit he pulls on a plate track. The only person that does more stupid moves on a plate track than Joey Logano was Jimmy Johnson.
Oh no.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Keselowski.
Oh well, yeah, I forgot about that. Speaking of Keselowski, he must have been sponsored by Weight Watchers or something last week.
Perfect segue. Which brings me to another point. All the stuff we've been talking about, he didn't have to do it. He did not have to do what he did to get into the championship, and here's the reasons why. Bell wins. That moves Hamlin down. Keselowski gets DQ'd. That moves Hamlin down one more. So now Hamlin and Chastain, because of those two positions taken away, are tied. It goes to a tiebreaker, which is average finish in that previous round. Chastain finished second in the previous two races, Vegas and
maybe he didn't know that. Maybe the information wasn't
They had
relayed
no
to him.
idea.
So maybe
he knew Bell won or was going to win,
Oh, yeah.
but he had no idea that Keselowski was going to get DQ'd.
no.
So that ended up being really, really cool. That, I guess, hindsight's 2020. It didn't have to but man, I'm so happy that it did. I am so happy because NASCAR and the whole sports world is buzzing about this. And I don't. One more thing on this that I want to cover is I don't care who you are. The best tweet ever came from Rodney Childers, and it was right after the race where he said new track record.
Picture that. I know we kind of talked about it when we were doing our sound check last night. Picture that whole thing with the guy, the track announcer from Indy. New track record. It's like, what? That's just unbelievable. And then the best thing is, you know who Ross Chastain's biggest fan is this week? Ty Gibbs.
Yes, because everybody forgot about his dumbass stuff.
Oh no, they haven't. Oh my god! If you guys want to talk about that later, I've got a ton of stuff. But that little asshole, he's gonna get his ass bloodied. It's gonna be great.
Oh, he's gonna get taken out next week at Phoenix. There's no two ways about that.
There's a
Dale Jr. said.
Go ahead.
Dale Jr. said last night on the podcast that he's already had 2 meetings with all 4 of his teams, and he says you will not be a part of any accident involving the 54. So he goes, I don't want anything like that to tarnish the opportunities that we have in front of us. I said, cool. He said he's even going to sit on Sam Mary's pit boss to make it even better. He says he'll hit the kill switch if he has to. Wow. But I didn't mean to jump that one off the tracks. I didn't want to change where you're going.
You're fine. All right, Brian.
There's a cool little graphic that NASCAR on NBC tweeted out 2 hours ago. It says, by the numbers for the championship 4, Ross has 2 wins, Elliott has 5, Christopher has 3, Logano has 3. Laps led, Ross 692, Chase Elliott at 857, Bell 573, and Logano at 593. Here's where the kicker is. The average finish between the 4 championship drivers, Joey Logano is... Actually, let me go worst to first. Worst is Chase Elliott at 16.3 average finish for the year. Then it's Joey Logano at 13.3. Then Christopher Bell at 12.2. And Ross is the first best average finish at 10.5 for the year. I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's all tracks?
Yeah, that's for the whole year.
All right, well, I want to get to that when we're done with other stuff. When we'll close it down with doing the Phoenix thing, because and I want to kind of the Xfinity stuff real quick, and Mark, you had talked about it with the Ty Gibbs and Brandon Jones stuff, so I want to put a little bit of a bow on that. I'm, and again, for those of you people out there that have watched this all year long, I have really become kind of a Ty Gibbs cheerleader. That's all gone. That's all gone. What that man boy did in that race was completely, totally unnecessary. And here's my take on it, and you guys chime in. Ty Gibbs didn't have to do that. This is a teammate. Ty Gibbs is already in the Final Four. He's got a shot to allow a teammate, even though this teammate is going to Junior Motorsports next year. I think he's actually filling the Noah Gragson seat.
Correct.
That was uncalled for. Just shut up, follow, get the teammate in. And, you know, Brian and I kind of discussed this Saturday after the race, and he says, well, I thought you were always about, you know, wreck your grandma to win. And you know what? I agree with that. But not in this scenario. And this is a product of this Chase Racing. Where if this were earlier in the year, it may have been acceptable. But right now, you got to be a team player, regardless of whether Brandon Jones is going to be a teammate next year or not, which we all know Ty Gibbs is going to go into the 18. So he's not even going to have to race against him on, the Xfinity series. I was so disappointed and so pissed with what he did, and there was no reason for it. All he had to do was just hang down in that, turn 4, let his teammate win his way into the championship, and then wish him good luck. Now, next week at Phoenix, we're coming into turn 4 on the last lap, and it's for the win. All bets are off.
Absolutely.
But this was, and I'm telling you, if I was Brandon Jones, I'd say, you know what? Y'all find somebody else to race this car this weekend, because I can clearly tell my team is not on my side. And I'll just go ahead and start doing my R&D and, orientation with JR Motorsports, because I don't need this shit. That to me was a totally unequivocal, classless move that Ty Gibbs did. And then he wants to get out of the car and talk about religion. Are you kidding me? It's just blew me away. And I've been a cheerleader all year long for Ty Gibbs, because again, all year long, when this Kyle Busch thing, Brian and I talked about it early on, where I just knew that Kyle Busch wasn't staying with JGR. There was no way. I actually thought they were going to go to Stuart Haas, or he was, and which Kevin Harvick was not happy about when that didn't happen. But once that was decided, I knew that Ty Gibbs was going to get that 18 ride, because they don't got to pay him as much as what they do Kyle Busch. But I lost a ton. I mean, an absolute. He's like earlier Kyle Busch, where he's got a lot of talent. But what he did at Martinsville on the last lap to Brandon Jones just put him almost top on my shit list. And then the crowd starts chanting, "Thank you, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Grandpa." All right. You guys pick something to go on to next.
I wanted to segue just a couple of thoughts that I compare on my notes, because you hit a lot. You hit all the high spots. Brandon Jones carried himself in a professional manner that he should have. Because, and I don't think he should have bagged it. I think he's gonna go and do his due diligence because he's got all those other corporate sponsors that he represents on that car, and those are the guys that are not gonna want to be a part of Joe Gibbs Racing. And maybe because of the way he handles himself, some of these guys are gonna want to stick with him someday. That this is this kid's opportunity to shine. Ty Gibbs is just a spoiled little punk ass bitch. Period. I've seen it in his eyes in the first little long altercation he had on pit road. He's got this sense of entitlement. Oh, it's just my grandpa will take care of that. My grandpa will take care of that. Well, to read the comments that his grandpa and his father have had to say, things are not as well as that kid thinks it might be.
He might not even get the car. So.
Yep. So he picks up the checkered flag and he waves over for his team to come celebrate. They didn't come over there to celebrate. He had to walk to them. So that's just a sign that it's just a little self-serviced little prick that he's gonna get his ass pounded next year. If he starts pulling moves like that, it's not gonna be good. He'll be like Buckshot Jones. He'll be the new Dart without feathers. But yeah, it's classless. Hey, I need to make a green flag pit stop.
All right, Brian, what you got?
Are you trying to do different news or what?
Yeah, let's just go through a lot of the news.
It was just announced that Junior is racing 2 Xfinity races next year. In the 88, was sponsored by Bass Pro Shops, and the car looks sharp. I like the paint scheme it has on it.
Recognize the paint scheme?
No.
It's his dad's old paint scheme from the All-Star race in 97.
Is it? It's a really sharp.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, he just announced that. I think he's doing an open wheel. There's another one that has a 3 on it, but I think it's open wheel or modified or something like that. He showed a
they announced that Josh Berry is going to have Bass Pro Shops for 11 races in Xfinity. Travis Quapple's kid, that won the North Wilkesboro late model race, is going to have Bass Pro Shop sponsorship, and that's the 3 car that you saw in the pictures. That's a late model. So that's big news right there.
Yeah. Junior knows how to bring them up, knows good drivers, and gets them trained, and does it right. He doesn't force it like they did for Joey Logano, know.
Absolutely.
So he's doing it right.
Yeah, he's created quite a little juggernaut there. Yeah, he's got some of Rick's money and some R&D stuff from Rick, but he and Kelly have, and we've watched this grow. Dave, you and I have seen it from the beginnings. He has created just a wonderful business model, and his drivers, even Noah Gragson, and the fool he can be from time to time, they nurture, they develop amazing drivers. So it's been fun to watch.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited to see Noah Gragson move up out of the organization.
To the 42?
Yeah. And
that's a big move for him. I think that's a great move for him. That's a great move for Petty, who has been real, obviously, with the 43. I think you're going to see this kid with, because he's been in a bunch of cup races as well. Noah has throughout the year, other than subbing for Alex Bowman, and it just hasn't been great equipment. And I think he was doing his best not to wreck the 48 and crash it.
In the 16.
But, and the 16, because that's a good team that they got coming up there. But that Petty team, they're on the edge of some really good stuff, and I think you put a good hot shoe like him in there, it's really going to help not only him as a driver, it'll help Eric Jones. I think it'll help that whole team, like you'll see how successful Trackhouse was this year.
That's a good comparison. It really is, because nobody at the beginning of the year saw Trackhouse coming. They never did.
No.
With RFK sweeping speed weeks at Daytona, nobody saw. And I got to give a shout out as far as Trackhouse as Daniel Suarez, along with Ross Chastain. and Justin Marks. I mean, my God. It's been nice to see a guy that's got more money than brains come in and do what he's done.
And on
He
top of
gets
that,
it.
they're getting
He gets it.
sponsors, partnerships. He's building that organization pretty good.
Yeah, it's get used to it, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a third team soon.
Well, they got
Other than
the 91.
other than the 91. I mean a fully competitive, full season team. I think the only thing holding them back is full time sponsorship, and I think with the success of the end of this season, that take their time, build it up. They definitely got a big enough shop to do it. So
Well, there was a lot of chatter, 2, 3 weeks ago about Jimmy Johnson coming over to Trackhouse and running like bucket list races with them. And that's been nixed. I guess that's not going to happen. But I can see Justin putting on a third team. If he can secure, like you said, the sponsorship full time, Brian, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but do they have a charter for that 91 number? No.
I don't know.
I think they do. They might. They have at least one, and I can't remember. I know there was a lot of conversation about that back in February. They'd have to look that up, but yeah.
And again, the car number doesn't matter as long as the organization has secured that charter. They can put any number on it they want. I still, and don't quote me on this or hold me to it, I still think there's going to be one more major move after this season is over that none of us see coming. I think it's going to come with one of two organizations, Stewart Haas or Trackhouse. And the reason I say Stewart, I mean, we discussed just now about Trackhouse, but with Stewart Haas, I've seen a lot of chatter out there about Tony's done with NASCAR. Mark, again, Brian and I, we discussed this last week on the show. Did you know he was supposed to be Grand Marshal and starting Barker for Homestead?
Yep.
And he got kicked to the curb basically for his comments on fines and the thing they're going through with the number 41 car, which, by the way, they lost the appeal.
Yep.
I mean, they had telemetry on that. They could see what he did. I haven't seen it in I want to say a whole lot of places, but I've seen it pop up here and there where Kevin Harvick might become the new owner and buy out Tony Stewart so he can go on and do his NHRA thing, and Kevin Harvick become the new team owner.
I've been thinking about that too, and not only is Tony Stewart going to be an NHRA team owner, if you didn't recall, he drove a top alcohol dragster in a national event this week, finished second by 0.0002 seconds. Next year, Tony Stewart is going to be a top fuel driver. You watch. He's either going to drive a funny car or a top fueler, and I think his days of being a NASCAR owner are waning. I think we're in the sunset of that. And Kevin Harvick, just like Kyle Busch, it wants to try to secure the future of Brexton, who's a good little driver. Kevin Harvick's son Keelan is quite the little go-kart racer as well, and develop that chain. And we've seen Kevin as a team owner before in the trucks, and they were extremely successful. So it wouldn't surprise me if that move was there. But I'm still reading that the 41 car might make a driver change and put Truck Series kid Ryan Preece in there.
That right there. That's a Gene Haas and Tony Stewart are fighting over who should be in that seat.
I can't imagine, because of how much you have to backload your sponsorship and all of your other commitments with these days. I don't think we'll see Kevin Harvick quit between now and Daytona.
No.
But I expect him to announce between now and Daytona that this may be his last year as an active driver. I think he's the next one to go.
Brian?
I think if Kevin Harvick wants to take over, he wants to put his drivers, his thoughts, his ideology into that organization and have Gene Haas just be a money backer. He doesn't want really Gene Haas to have a say on who drives. That's kind of like how Kurt Busch was driving the 41 because that was a Gene Haas driver. Tony didn't want him there, but that's how he got there. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, in his vocal after Kyle Busch signed with Childress, as Kevin Harvick is kind of what's leaning me to believe that, as you said, Mark, Tony's days are numbered with Stuart Haas. I mean, he's got what you call FU money. He doesn't care. He wants to go out and have fun, run his sprint cars, run his, funny cars, NHRA, all that other stuff. And I think he's just fed up with NASCAR.
Well, they're giving them the stiff. Think about it. They pulled the cars from Eldora. And he wants them to race at Eldora. That's why he bought Eldora. And they pulled it, So there's a lot of things they've been pretty much throwing mud at Tony, and he's fucking tired of it.
Yeah. And
he's got a smoking hot wife that wants to drive straight.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to drive straight behind her. Yeah. And who wouldn't? And I think that's where he's going to go. Running an NHR team is exponentially cheaper than running a NASCAR team.
Yeah.
By far. It doesn't seem like it with all the engine changes and stuff, but it's not nearly as expensive. And he's already got a full team there. He can just wash his hands and be done with this. But I do think Kevin Harvick would make a great owner's candidate. And I understand where you're going with that, Brian, in regards to Gene Haas. But I could see Gene Haas being that silent partner because he's so wrapped up into his F1 team.
Yep. That's what I told Dad. I know he doesn't really watch F1 or whatnot, but Gene Haas is very heavily invested in the F1.
And they're very close to becoming
obsolete.
More competitive.
Well, they were really bad. Well, they've been bad recent years.
Yeah.
But they got...
But this year they've been competitive.
Whose son does he have?
Mick Schumacher.
Yeah, Mick Schumacher's kid.
Yep.
They're trying to build around him.
And they've made an engine and a chassis change, and they're gonna get better. So he's gonna put his focus there. You never know. You never know what might go on with that, and it'll be interesting to see because it's soon to be where we're gonna see drivers and names and cars that are like they're gone. The guys from our glory years, Dave, from the 90s when we first started getting really wound up into it, they're going to all be gone. I mean,
you're seeing the kids of those drivers.
Yeah.
You're seeing the kids of them. We talked about it last week. People may not realize, but we obviously know Braxton and Keelan because their fathers put them in the spotlight, but you still got Clint Boyer's kid. You got Kyle Larson's kid. You got Jeff Gordon's kid that he grooms him, but he doesn't put him on social media. I'm pretty sure there's other ones. Because no one really knew about Chase Elliott until he got older. Like Travis Quapple, you didn't know about his kid until he got older. So you were going to start seeing the young kids or grandkids or whatever come up in the next 5-10 years. So it's going to be a different change, especially even in 5 years, Keelan and Braxton will be probably ARCA, if not modifieds by then.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
They'll be of age for those.
I think they're both like 9.
Yeah.
Something like that. So it'll be we're turning a page. We're turning a page with a new car that Dave, you and I talked about ever since the evolution of the first car of turds, not car of tomorrow, car of turds. I mean, how many hours and how much wasted breath did we put on that? But I think the product that they have right now is absolutely freaking amazing. I don't care what people complain about. It's the first year. It's going to get better. It's only going to get better. The cars can race. We've seen more action and more passes on the track. I'd like to see that data. Total passes for a 35 race season right now compared to the total passes last year. And I bet that number is hugely in favor of this year. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited for new faces. You know, how many different winners do they have? 17 different winners this year?
Oh
18?
no, 19.
19, I
19.
think.
There we
18
go.
or 19.
That's a credit of that car. That's a credit that these teams, they've now leveled the playing field from a financial expenditure side of things. You still got to have talent. You still got to have people that know how to build those cars. You still got to have people that know how to adjust those cars. But doggone it, you've now leveled that playing field, and I'm excited.
I think the foundation's all right, but there's things on that car that need to change. Obviously, they're changing. They're obviously changing the rear end. They just put out the data for the new rear end crash test they did and how it crumples compared to the old one. It crumples a lot better.
Yeah, but they modified the right rear a hell of a lot more than they did the left rear.
That's probably because of the car.
That?
That's probably when the car flips and it probably hits. I don't know. I just know from the pictures they show, it crumples a lot more, so obviously it absorbs more damage. We've also talked about that fucking tire has been horrendous this year, but I don't know if that's a car thing, tow thing, Goodyear thing. So that needs more addressed too, is how many times have we had problems because of tire blown out on a car? I think
that's normal.
Not this much.
Look at. Oh yeah, we had the
but
racing tires deals.
But earlier in the year, because of that belly pan, car get a flat tire, you're on the hook.
Yep. And that's evolution. By getting the bigger wheel, they had to make a shorter sidewall.
Yeah.
So there's things that will evolve. It's only year one. It's only going to get better. To your point. Talking about the geometry changes of the rear, I'll send you guys a link. There's a guy he's a tire changer for one of the IMSA Lexus cars. His name's Bozy, and it's Eastern European, so it's got a V and a Z and a couple of T's in it. But I'll look it up. But he provides. He was like a technical journalist for NASCAR, and he kind of left them a few months ago, and now he's doing work for Road and Track, and he provided on Twitter the technical data report from NASCAR that showed exactly what they changed, showed the graphics of the finite element analysis of the compression, and it was really slick. And I'll send that to you because it'd be a great wealth of knowledge. He does it all the time, talking about the technical aspects of the car. So, but that's engineer speak coming out of me, so I'll just stop now.
It's going to be interesting to see I know they've got a lot of feedback and from both sides. I just wonder what they're going to change from now until next year in the off season to that car to improve it or change. That'd be interesting to me because they got a lot of feedback for this year. Like you said, it's year one. So what are they going to change? What's their priorities for the car?
They're going to allow Ford to make some aerodynamic changes to the noses because they already know that is Ford is front downforce deficient with the noses of the Mustang. I know that they are going to do that, and then they're talking about still continuing to try to shake it so they don't have that square hole in the front of the windshield with the slit windows in the back to eliminate the heat. Yeah. I know that I've read that they're working on that too. So I think it's only going to get better. I think you're going to see. I think this car has the potential, without tricking it out and twisting it up like some of these crew chiefs used to do, of getting your speeds back to what we used to see in the early 2000s when the cars were just as crazy as they could be.
Well, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I have not been a fan of this car all year. I've not been a fan of the single vendor parts system. And Mark, that I have never been a fan of all these because, again, wreck your grandma to win, 3 mile fuel line, do whatever it takes. And if you cheated and got away with it, is it really cheating?
Right. And I miss that too. I do.
There, I don't like the iron, and I mean iron grip that NASCAR has on everything. Uh Now, earlier in the year when Kyle Busch and Hamlin, I'm not remembering exactly what track that was. They had buffers underneath the wrap that changed the aerodynamics, and they
Oh
got
yeah,
Pocono?
Was it
No.
I think it
Pocono?
was Pocono. Yeah.
Dude, that was the best fantasy fucking week I had all year long. I had all 5 of my guys in the top 6 until that.
Well,
Um, I think innovation is a cool thing. I can remember the days when NASCAR used to look at that stuff and say, "Okay, we see the advantage. You can't do that anymore."
right, right.
Instead of taking races away, I'm just outside of the decals. The cars aren't that much different, and the drivetrain, or the motor, and that is what I don't like. I can remember, back in the 90s, late 80s, where Ford would find something, Dodge would look at it, and then they'd do it better. And then Chevy would look at that and say, "Oh, we got this," and do it better. And it was a competition to who could build, and sometimes these guys went overboard and they started blowing motors. I remember when they were running Buicks. It's like, I guess I appreciate what you're saying. I miss I'm sitting on the wall eating ice cream days.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you know what I do? But I don't miss guys that won 8 races, lapped the field all the time. Yeah, they had the advantage. They were the sharpest tool in the shed. Maybe they had that 30-foot long fuel line. But at the same time, I like to see 5 wide at Bristol. I like to see the fact that we had 19 different winners. And maybe these engineers haven't found the way yet. They're gonna find a way to tweak that mousetrap. They're gonna find a way. They just haven't had enough time to do it yet. I think. Hopefully they loosen that up a little bit. It would be nice. But that iron grip on the single source manufacturers are the reason why you see the 42 and the 43 competitive. It's the reason why you see Michael McDowell competitive. So if you take that away, then the costs go through the roof again, and then you start losing teams again, and then you start.
Well, the costs are already through the roof. They were already come out and said NASCAR it could be dead in 5 years because it costs too much to race a team.
I saw that.
Jeff Gordon came out, and it was a couple other ones, and just saying the back end right now is NASCAR. It's the business model's really expensive, even with all the cuts they're trying to do. So I don't know what that is going to do or who they're trying to aim that towards. But there's
at the same time, they had to build up an entire garage and a fleet of cars.
Yeah.
Whereas prior to this year, they were able to rerun chassis.
Yeah.
For a couple of years if they didn't get Danica'd up, and so I think as they move along, their inventory of components is going to improve. That price point and that inventory and that cost effect should level out, but it's still expensive. It's an expensive sport all day long. So,
well, like I said, I was so irritated earlier in the year when you had teams like Hendrick Motorsports show up with 4 teams at the track and only have 1 backup car.
That's because they didn't have enough parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody had enough parts, and that's where I'm getting at. That's gonna level out. I'm certain of that. I mean, hell, I blew an engine in my Cherokee a year ago, and it took 5 months to get a rebuild engine. Imagine what it is to try to source parts for race cars.
Well, each one of them has their own fucking shop to be able to make that. I'm pretty sure they can get a block of steel and mill out a motor if they wanted to. They have
the single vendor source.
They have the manpower and sources to do that. It's just now,
but not all of them do. So,
well, NASCAR
this is the price that you pay for a balanced playing field. For now, I think you'll see it. I think you'll see it change.
All right.
Hey, I got a question for you, and I've been wondering since last year when they announced last year's schedule. How many times in our days did you and I have an entire segment every year where we would create our own schedule? Remember that?
Yes, I do.
And how many times did our last season or so was like the first or second year of the playoffs. And I remember screaming up and down that there better be a plate race in the playoffs, and there sure as hell better be a road course in the playoffs. And now we've seen it. And I wanted to hear what your guys' thoughts are by the dramatic increase in road courses on the Cup schedule in the last couple of years.
Brian, go ahead.
Me and him are at odds. I like the Roval, I like the Daytona, and I like the Indy road courses, but also I want them to continue doing the Indy Oval on top of them. And, I like those road courses. Dad, he wants to just, if it's at a oval course, it shouldn't be a road course. They have other road courses in the country, which he's right. Other road courses in the country that they can go to. Like Coda and what's the other one they added? They're going away from in Wisconsin.
Road America.
Yeah, is it Wisconsin at Road America in Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, forgot. Chicago.
Oh Jesus Christ! Don't even start with me on that one.
The Chicago.
That's gonna be a shit show.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun to watch. But look at this. North Wilkesboro is back.
Yeah, that's what we.
Thank you, Jesus. Yep. I'll let Road America go away to bring back North Wilkesboro. We've talked about that one in the past too. So I was just curious because I'm excited with the number of tracks that they've changed and the tracks that they're going to.
Rockingham posted up an update too. Their work starting to work on Rockingham.
I know it.
Just took my thunder.
Sorry. Sorry.
And let's get rid of the fucking dirt in Bristol. That experiment is over.
Thank you, brother. I'm done with this shit.
Hold on. Go on here. Just
Brian likes it, but I don't.
I like it, but I don't think it should take away from a Bristol track.
Exactly.
Just go out there, dig a hole, and
plenty of acres.
Dig a hole and make it a dirt track instead of bringing in how much fucking dirt and clay and sawdust for fucking Bristol.
Why don't you just go to Eldora and
make
everybody happy?
But on top of it, I know you're gonna have an opinion on this, Dad. Is they announced that the Coliseum is now a night race.
Oh. Do you suppose because they can't sell tickets and they're having sponsorship problem and attendance problem, they're having all kinds of issues, so they got to try and move it to prime time?
Yeah, they had just announced it's a night race now.
Again, Mark, if you go all the way back to when we started this podcast right after the Coliseum, I said at that point, this is a dog. It's done. The only reason they did that was to try and sell more tickets.
The West Coast swing.
To the West Coast swing. Guess what? It didn't work. Attendance at Phoenix, Sonoma,
California,
and Vegas. Ticket sales, viewership, and attendance was not up after the Coliseum. That's why they did it.
It's LA. They're just trying to get some exposure in LA. It's a novel idea. I thought it was interesting.
Honestly, Brian, I cannot wait for them to do this and to compare
numbers,
the ratings and the attendance from last year. Hey, let's face it. It was huge because it was new.
Well, it was It was huge. It was just I wouldn't say perfect storm, but it was a good storm because it was the first thing of the year. The NASCAR's back. It's the new car. They're on a
Coming
football
out of
field.
COVID.
Like I said, there was a lot of things that was going into it to make it big. So,
But remember, we talked about the people they
and they
interviewed.
had fucking LL Cool J, whoever fucking rapping. I don't know who it was.
Oh yeah, right. Like we want to see that. But I remember the interviews where it was very clear the media was on board with NASCAR about using that venue to try and boost attendance at that West Coast swing.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, they got a race at Vegas? Really?"
Yeah, they had no idea.
They had no idea. It was just something that was new to LA. It was like back in the day when you and I saw it all the time, Mark, where people just went to races so they could stand around the water cooler on Monday morning, say, "Yeah, I was there." Well, who won? I don't know, but I was there. It was that kind of thing. And I will go right now at the end of this year almost, and I will predict to you that this will be the last time they go to the Coliseum.
Well, we talked about it before for how much money they're putting into making that track on that football field and then tearing it down. How much money is that? Millions? Why don't they?
That's just the same thing as Bristol with the dirt.
Why don't they put that money into a track restoration or go build another track? And then you don't have to tear it down. It's already built, ready to go.
They need to build more tracks. Like I need a third eyeball.
So put that money.
So many other good tracks.
Put that money into restoration. Then stop trying to do this one-off shit. It's millions of dollars, and that could go. Like I said, we know Wilkesboro is coming back. All that money they put into Bristol for 2 years now, and the Coliseum could be up on 2 years. They could have restored Wilkesboro to be squeaky clean, Oh,
it's gonna be.
Well,
and I hope they don't change anything else. Don't repave it. Just clean it up.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. I watched a lot of that late model thing. I'm excited as heck to bring the old school track back.
They already grooved out the pavement for the safer barrier, and they already took down the fence to update the fencing.
Well, again, because I'm kind of local to what's going on here, I believe within 2 years, the Cup Series will be back.
It'll be there now. It'll be year 2024. I'm calling it. It'll be a regular track.
Yeah, they're putting in the safer walls. They're rebuilding.
Now that NASCAR is involved, they're not gonna not go there. Besides fucking the All-Star race, I think
exactly.
I think they'll do All-Star race in 2023, and then it'll be Rockingham in 2024.
Oh,
that would be great.
They're doing Rockingham. They have moved on as far as renovating North Wilkesboro.
Yeah.
Now NASCAR's involved. I saw pictures today on local media that they are
already there.
As we speak, they are repaving Rockingham, and they are tearing everything down and rebuilding it. And the report that I saw was by 2025, they are going.
It'll be done before that.
God, I can see him. He's blonde-headed. That bought that track and tried to make it work.
Actually, son. Oh no, you're talking Rockingham.
Yeah. Who?
No, I was on the North Wilkesboro pain.
Who bought that? God, he was a truck racer.
Yeah. And he had a driving school there.
Yes. But he ended up selling, I don't know to what entity he sold to, but again, there's reports this week on local media around here that repaving has already begun.
Yep.
And I think NASCAR has figured out that, look what happened with Wilkesboro, and we weren't involved. And then they get involved. They're figuring it out. And Mark, I have been to Rockingham.
Andy Hillenberg,
Hillenberg, that's it. Yes, sir. Andy Hillenberg.
Thank you, Google.
I think Rockingham's next on the list.
Good. Fantastic. Love it.
So.
And by the way,
right.
I don't think Bristol Dirt's going anywhere. It's too much of a success. It's not like it's a
For
college
who?
NASCAR.
No, it's not.
It is. Because it's not just the NASCAR race, all series race on it, and then they have a bunch of sprint cars. They have more than that just on that before they tear it down. So it brings in quite a bit of money for the track. Now how much more than what it is to put it together and take it apart, I don't know. It's like them putting a football fucking stadium in there. They do every so often.
Yeah. Well. All right, I've got about 4 more things that I do at least want to talk about. But I'm willing to defer if you guys got anything. Maybe we'll cross subjects here.
I'm good. I'm wide open. I am at your mercy.
Brian?
There's a few things. If you want to talk about more NASCAR stuff, Brad Keselowski got dinged again for being too light. Don't they weigh the car before? So how did it lose weight? So I don't understand that one.
He just didn't build up enough rubber during the race.
Yeah, that was wild. Do you see how much rubber came out of Joey Logano's car when they pulled it out? That was a lot of rubber.
Did you see what came out of Ty Gibbs's car? That thing was bigger than a beach ball.
They'll figure that out. They'll put some more screens or something on there. But I'm glad you mentioned Roush Fenway Keselowski. I think, and here's your thing. He stretched the limits. And maybe that's why they were running so good. And all of a sudden they said, okay, let's see where this goes. And he got popped, just like Stewart Haas got popped. There's guys bending those rules. They're getting there, and they're finding other ways. But I was excited. And what did Brad Keselowski's team had to lose? They've been
nothing.
That organization has been sucking hind tit for the last 5 years. You know, and you know, Dave, how well I appreciate Jack Roush, which is about as much as I like to have a wet fart. It's just because you don't know what's going to happen next. So when Brad bought it and has the ownership opportunities, I'm in favor of it. And not everybody likes Brad, and I know you haven't been a big fan of it either, but he has this engineering company in the background that I get to read a lot about. And they're bringing these tools and stuff. So I'm excited to see a team come up from the ashes, just like the Petty team. So he got his hand smacked. Okay, what did he have to lose? He got on TV. He shows relevancy. Busher did what he did. You see this team coming from the ashes and have some more competitiveness. I'm all for it. I like it. And I'm not even a Ford guy.
Well, like I said, pushing the edges. That's what I
Absolutely.
That's what I want to see. But I'm with Brian on this. If he weighed light after the race, how in the hell did he get through 2 or 3 inspections before the race?
Is fuel that much of a difference? It would, like I said, I want to know what he's supposed to weigh, what he weighed, and how much fuel was the difference. That was my thing.
The world has been talking about Ross Chastain. Nobody knows yet. It'll pop out. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. Yeah. But it could be just as easy as, you know, where you've seen guys had their tungsten blocks fall out of their frame rail.
Yeah.
Or maybe they had some lead shot or something. Or you never know. And I'd be very interested to find out what that was. But they added something that managed to go away when they
racing. Yeah.
Maybe they had extra. Maybe they had pumped water or something into the frame, the tubes of the roll cage, and then now hear me out. Hear me out. They've got that big cart that they use to oil and to circulate the oil in the coolant. How do you know that they didn't have 3 hoses and they were circulating, pumping water out of that roll cage? Could be something like that. You never know. Could be ingenious. Could be blind luck. Who knows?
Finds out it's like that, I'd give him a high five.
Absolutely. I love it. I love the ingenuity, and I'm glad to see that he's doing better. That organization's getting better, because it's just good to see that competitiveness, and it's good to see Brad sometimes pull a dumb shit move. So,
Alrighty. Another thing I think we can chew up here just a little bit is Austin Hill.
Punched the shit out of somebody, right?
Myatt Snyder.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did. Laid him
And
out.
he didn't get in trouble. He get no fine. NASCAR came out and didn't fine him, no nothing. I saw they had the pit road camera. Man, he fucking wailed so fucking hard. My God.
Him.
I don't know what that was about.
Didn't he tell him to get out of his face more than once?
I don't know what happened. I just saw the video. I'm like, holy shit.
It was crazy. Myatt Snyder drives for Jordan Anderson, and I've been kind of following Jordan Anderson. I like his, he's a renegade guy, and he's up and he damn near turned himself into a shish kebab at Talladega. He's the one in the truck that got on fire, and he burned up really bad. But that Hill kid, he's got a good future ahead of him. I think he's a good race car driver if he doesn't get his ass beat.
The WWE.
Boy, he had a great right hook, man. That was solid.
One other point with Austin Hill, and this shocked the crap out of me. He's got 6 races next year on the NASCAR schedule with Beard Motorsports, starting with Daytona, not Richard Childress. What the hell is up with that? Because he's been one of those development drivers.
Well, it's kind of like Noah Gragson. He wants to get up there in NASCAR and not wait for a Hendricks ride. So he just took a ride.
You think that's what it is?
Well, I think he's mad too because he was supposed to be the next guy to go to Richard Childress, and they put Kyle Busch there. And they're not going to buy a charter. So I think he's just trying to get a ride and get experience in the Cup. And he's taking anything he can, like Noah did this year and Ty Gibbs did this year.
I think where you're at is right, Brian. But what it boils down to, he's not going to go take any ride.
No.
He's going to go take a Chevy ride because he's a Chevrolet driver.
Yes, correct.
That's that umbrella that's developed itself. So Noah Gragson went to the first available competitive Chevrolet team. And I'd be interested to know if Beard is a Chevrolet Cup team as well. I think
yes, they are. Yes, they are.
And
then Ross is raced it in Xfinity and all that.
So who do they get their motors from? I'm willing to bet you it's the ECR or RCR and whoever that is now.
Well, RCR is Colleague, and
but RCR provides the engines.
Well,
so you either have a Hendrick Chevy or an RCR Chevy.
Correct, and
so it's part of that umbrella. I'd be curious because he doesn't have any other Cup rides.
No.
Chevrolet wants Austin Hill to get some Cup experience and at the same time help this other Chevy team.
Yeah. And then
That's where I'm at. That's the first thing I thought when I read about that the other day as well.
Yes. Well, isn't Travis Quapple taking a ride too for Big Red? I think he's taking the Big Red full.
You mean Travis Quapple's kid?
No, Travis Quapple. No, Parker Kligerman. Sorry, no. Parker Kligerman. Sorry.
There you go.
Parker Kligerman. He's going Big Red.
Nope, I'm not aware of that.
Hold on. Get it. Parker Kligerman. Yeah, there it is. Parker Kligerman to run full-time Xfinity Series for Big Red Racing, announced at Martinsville this weekend. So he's going to be racing.
I don't even know who that is.
Cup?
Xfinity.
Okay.
Big Machine Racing.
Big Machine. Okay, that's the one with the record company, and then they got the vodka, and yeah, that used to be like a 3 or 4 car team back in the day.
Yeah. Another little, I guess, segue, but Toyota announces new Truck Series partnership. Former David Gilliland Racing, now their Tricon Garage replaces Toyota and Kyle Busch's Motorsports. Racing there is Corey Heim. Will drive the number 11. Tanner Gray will drive the 15. Taylor Gray will drive the 18. There's 4 drivers, and Taylor Ankrum will move up from ARCA series.
That's a whole lot of Taylors right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler, Taylor, Tanner, and Corey.
What is that? Some kind of a music group? Jesus. It's the Spice Guys.
There you go.
Yeah, that's another thing that Kyle Busch's move to Childress opens the door. Chevrolet is drooling.
Oh, yeah.
Because now the Chevrolet hasn't had much relevance in the truck series for several years. Plop in Kyle Busch. That is.
And they haven't announced
amazing.
anything yet. I think he's going to be the biggest talk of the offseason because of the moves that he's going to produce.
Well, you've got drivers with
they're
him
waiting,
that
yeah.
are contracted with Toyota,
Yeah.
not only him.
Correct.
So
Yep.
they've got to figure that whole mess out and get those Toyota contracted drivers beyond this
Yeah,
year.
John Hunter Nemechek's one of them. He's got to figure out where he's racing.
With other Toyota teams, and then they've got to contract drivers that are with Chevy to bring them in to keep KBM going.
Unless their contract goes up this year, which I think that's what they're waiting for.
Well,
John Hunter Nemechek will go to the Cup Series next year. You watch. He will be the one chosen to backfill from Kurt Busch's retirement. John Hunter Nemechek is Toyota's up-and-comer that I think you're going to see them urge 2311 to take him, put him in there from a development standpoint because they
In a
don't
third
have
car?
anybody else. No. You got Bubba in the 23,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got somebody that's got to drive the 45 because Kurt retired.
Right.
Tyler Reddick, they already announced.
Oh crap! I forgot about the Reddick thing.
Yeah.
But that's next. That's not next year.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
And
It is
yeah,
now
did they flip?
because
Yeah.
because
Well, it
Kyle
is now.
Busch-
I
It got
missed that
bought
one.
out. His contract got bought out.
Yeah,
There we
Childress
go. Then
paid him
it's-
off so he could go.
Yeah.
because Kyle or
I forgot
Kurt-
all about that, guys. My
Yeah.
fault.
No, you're good. No, yeah.
I was still thinking.
That's why I was like,
still
third
thinking
car?
He had another year.
You're right. Yeah, they did want John Hunter until I'm assuming Joe put Ty Gibbs in, and then that's why John Hunter came in for Bubba last week.
There you go.
But yes, I agree.
There you go.
They want John Hunter to be up there. So could he be in the 18 over Ty after what he's done this year? Maybe.
No, hell no. That ain't.
There's no way they reward Ty Gibbs with that 18 car with the way he's acted. I'd be very
You
surprised.
don't think so?
Monster is drooling over this.
They might have a say because if they're going to sponsor him.
All right, let me throw a little monkey wrench in there. What's going to happen with Trevor Bayne?
He'll be full-time Xfinity.
What, in the 54?
Or the 18. Because the 18's shared by fucking like 5 guys in the Xfinity.
I think the Trevor Bayne experiment's over. I think that experiment's over. And John Hunter, there you go. There's John Hunter's hole.
Maybe.
He's going to move up from the Truck Series, and he's going to backfill Ty Gibbs' role.
Yeah, maybe.
In the Xfinity.
Very
All
possible.
right, I want to clarify. What do you mean by the Trevor Bayne experience or experiment? Because that boy has not done nothing but perform.
I don't think he didn't bring any sponsors with him. That's going to have a lot to do with it. You and I we all know you can run really great, but if you don't have any sponsorship, you don't have any money. Well, we're going to go take Danica or Bubba because they bring money.
He had sponsorship early on. I just don't know if they stayed on.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that he is running the full season in the last third of the season. I hadn't seen his name on Saturdays.
Yeah.
But that's a good point, too. I mean, I like the guy. I'm glad that he was resurgent and he got a little bit after he got healthy again. But you never know.
Yeah.
But I think go back to the Kyle Busch and the Chevrolet and why they haven't heard anything about trucks. He hasn't said much of anything. They didn't even show any pictures when he made his announcement to go to Childress in front of a Chevrolet because Toyota is really, really firm on all of that. So I'm assuming, God, I hate that word. I'm speculating that next week after Phoenix is done, you start seeing a whole lot of information coming out about Kyle Busch's involvement with Chevrolet, and then the Truck Series information comes out on the backside of that.
I think that's contractually obligated or bounded, so he can't say he's been over there doing this or doing that. Sponsors, I'm more interested in what his sponsors are going to be, because he said that they came out and said he's got a ton, but he's going to announce them at a later date.
Did you see that he was trolling on Twitter with Sling TV?
No.
He was exchanging with Sling back and forth, and then all of a sudden somebody posted a picture of the number 8 with the Sling car, and it looked really friggin' cool. That was neat, and he was playing right into it. But I'm very excited and interested to see where that goes. I think Kyle Busch in a Richard Childress car is going to really help Richard Childress, because you can't say that Ty Dillon has done anything to help them competitively from that regard. Tyler Reddick is a great guy. I think he's a wonderful up and coming talent. But if you can get Kyle Busch in there for 3 years, man, that sets everything right back to zero. Makes it legitimate again.
I don't know. Work. Aha.
Did you get all your lighting right there, Sweet Pea?
Well, I had sun coming in, and that was making me look like the Grim Reaper, and then I shut that down, and then I got all the
what you were talking
going
about
on because it was too dark, so I fixed.
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was, Brian. That's a pretty slick looking car.
It'll be interesting.
It could be somebody that just had a bright idea, or maybe that's what they're going to do in their iRacing car or something.
Well, that guy, Lefty Designs, if you ever follow him, because I've seen him before, he makes some really good concept cars. He's made some really good, it was the beginning of the year, he made some really good Chase Elliott ones and William Byron ones. And so him making that, I'm not surprised. And the only reason he did that is because Sling tweeted at Kyle Busch.
Yes.
He said, "Hey, Kyle Busch, let's keep in touch about 2023. In the meantime, we're pledging $8,888 to Bound of Joyful, which I'm assuming is one of his fundraising things. Cheering for you this weekend in the future."
That's one of Kyle's things. Yep. Well, there you go. They just leaked something.
If he says, "If you don't sling me a sponsorship, we have a problem."
Yeah, I did see
if
that.
the Candyman doesn't hand out a full-size candy bars, we have a problem. So honestly, it might be Sling sponsorship. They're just toying with everybody. That's pretty cool.
One of many, I think they'll be. I'm sure that you'll see a Rowdy energy drink car. Or you'll see Rowdy on the car.
It'll definitely be. Yeah, it'll definitely be on the car. I know I didn't see that till now.
That's cool. All right. Another change at Childress Racing is Keith Rodden's coming in, new crew chief for Austin Dillon, trying to get that stuff back up, which I think is a good move. I'm not sure Keith Rodden's history, but the big man made a change there. Alex Bowman will be back in the car at Phoenix.
Yeah, that's good news. That's great news.
And then
I saw something funny. I want to touch back on Kurt Busch. I'm glad to see him at the track. And B, there was a picture on Twitter that he was the tire return guy.
Oh, we done
during
that.
The race. I did that. It made me go, hey, I did that, dude. But I mean, Kurt Busch, man. I'm sorry. I want to touch on that in parlay with your Alex Bowman. As much as I hated Kurt Busch, then remember back in the day, it was like, fuck Kurt Busch. I've learned to really appreciate that cat and how he took really poor running teams, created some balance with those teams, and was competitive. But I think maturity. We all learn something through maturity, And the way that he has handled himself through over all these years, it was like, damn it, I wasn't ready to see him done yet. And I couldn't believe I said that. It's like, what's wrong with you?
I think Kurt brings in, because he's been in the game a long time. For one, respect, and then that brings in a foundation, and then I don't know if it's the family's the word, but he brings a camaraderie everybody can gather around. Early in the days, if you ever listen to radio, he was a fucking prick. This car's a piece of shit. Yeah. So obviously he's grown for that, and obviously he has his tendencies, but everywhere he's gone, he's won. Regardless of a shit team, good team, mediocre team, he's won. And people can rally around that, and he's got such good education and knowledge. And I think that's why Bubba did so well this year, is because of Kurt.
It's the only reason. It's the only reason. No, and I think you'll see Kurt Busch stay on.
He'll be on a pit box. I don't know if he'll be crew chief. He'll be.
I think he'll be something either as a driver development specialist with an organization, or he'll be back as a competition involvement because of how well he knows about chassis. So I think it's the last time we've seen him behind the wheel, but I don't think it's the last time we'll see his face around the races.
No, he's definitely gonna be around.
Sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to steal your thunder on that.
Oh no, you're fine, man. I just love sitting back and listening. I'm just making sure, like I showed you guys the other day, I got a whole page, so we've ticked some of it off. One other thing I did want to cover, and it's Tyler Reddick literally pulled the car over and got out.
Yep.
And then later said that
had a headache or something.
And I don't think that he's going to be in the car next week at Phoenix. They're doing some evaluations. If they're doing
a concussion protocol look at him, yeah, he's done for the year.
I think he's done.
Who's going to drive that car?
I think his situation was just like that quarterback from the Miami Dolphins that got his freaking bell rung. And they had to, and then they said he's okay, comes back out the next week and gets one hit and he is freaking out.
That was scary looking.
And good for Tyler Reddick to recognize that something wasn't right.
Yep.
And that's the best thing in the world, and they're understanding that because and again, a credit to Dale Jr. and his book and the message that he had about how concussions ended his career, and how he talked about, hey, we got to pay more attention to this. And I'm glad that we're doing that. And I'm not like lifting him up on a pedestal in that regard, but if it wasn't for him to say those things that he had done, we would have more people like a Tyler Reddick sucking it up and going through instead of saying, I got to stop or else I'm going to get hurt or somebody's going to get hurt. So.
Or Bowman or any of these guys.
Yeah.
I agree. I just, when watching that race and he pulled in and got out, and the only thing that was said was, basically, I don't feel good. And then it came out in the last day or two that he'd had a hard hit.
The previous week, yeah.
Yeah, the previous week and also in the Xfinity race. And
he's smart to get out because if he got in a crash right there, he could have been seriously hurt. Dale Jr.
Yeah. Yep.
He's got a big future ahead of him.
So he's not risking that. Yep. And what I thought was cool, even with
I think he's going down in flames when he goes over to 2311. Just my personal opinion.
He's too good of a driver. He's not going in flames.
I think it's the other way around.
Yep. He'll be in the top 8 championship next year.
Woo! I should write that down somewhere.
In the 45 car? No, yeah, it'll be the 45. Yeah. Which he'll be in the top 8. He's that good of a driver with Toyota backing him, and that money they're getting he'll definitely win races, and he'll be there. He'll propel it and make Bubba Wallace look like a fucking shit on wall.
I'm gonna remember this.
I don't care. It's fucking recorded. I got receipts. I said in the beginning of the year.
Speaking of recordings, I found the hard drive, Dave. I found the blue hard drive with all of You Want Some. I found it. The
No
archives.
kidding.
Dead Sea Scrolls. I gotta find a way to. My laptop that I have here doesn't have a connection for that hard drive, but yeah, I'll dig them up. I'll send you some.
Oh, those were the days.
The Infield, Michigan experience. That's the one. That's gold. We came back from that. Brian, that was the weekend that I got media credentials for us, and we went to the infield at Michigan on Thursday with 6 cases of 16-ounce beers, and we ran out on Saturday.
We fixed that.
We took my backpack and stuffed my laptop and my mixing board and handheld microphones and walked around the infield and saw a cool bus. And I opened it up and I started interviewing them about how their buses and their history. And remember, we wound up in that dude from Granger in the Dale Earnhardt bus, and I don't remember getting back. It was great. Anyways, man, that was it. That was awesome. Sorry, but I'll dig up that hard drive and I'll find a place so we can reminisce.
That would be cool. That would be cool. All right, guys. Do we have anything else we want to touch on?
I know we're getting to the end here, but do you think Denny Hamlin is going to let Ross have a chance at winning the championship?
Mark, you go first on that one.
Do you think he's not going to intentionally wreck because of the Bubba thing, but do you think he's going to do other things to hold him up because he doesn't want him to win? He for one, all the shit that happened this year between them, and two, he screwed him this week out of the championship. So is he going to try to do the same thing and hold him up to stop him? Because that'd be the biggest shit in Denny Hamlin's face. How long has Denny been racing and always finished in top 4 or second or third or whatever, never been able to do it, and then Ross, all the shit he's done this year to Denny, and then kicks him out of the top 4 and then wins the championship? I don't think Denny allows it. I don't know how he stops it, but I don't think Denny's going he's going to go out of his way to not allow it. Will he wreck him? I don't it won't be a deliberate like Bubba, but he might just nudge him in the bumper and put him in the wall so it damages his car.
I think it's too big of a stage. I think if he makes his car about 3 foot wider than it is, does a lot of blocking, does a lot of things to get in his way, I think we'll see that. I think it would be professional suicide if he would purposefully do that on that stage.
I think so too, but
he has every right. He has every right to slow him down. But we've seen what happens when you purposefully try to manipulate the race and what happened with the 41 car. So
yes.
So I hope he doesn't.
I hope he doesn't either. What do you think, Dad? I have another question to follow up with this.
Yeah, my take. Denny Hamlin has no dog in this fight. He doesn't have a team member. He doesn't have...
Yeah, he does. He has Christopher Bell.
Well, you're correct. I didn't... for whatever reason, I didn't recognize that. I think that if Denny Hamlin pulls some of the crap... Was it at Darlington where he was slowing Chastain down?
No, that was St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Every single lap, NASCAR will black flag his ass
pull him
and
down.
Put him in the pits. If he does something as flagrant as that. Another part of my thinking is that Ross Chastain actually got a little bit of respect back.
Well, I think it was split. Well, from Hamlin, yeah, but I think it was split for what he did. For his move.
You watch Hamlin's reaction, and there was nothing negative.
No.
It was like, holy shit, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he was...
Why didn't I do that?
He was actually almost like, dude, that was great.
Yeah.
Even though it took him out, and it was in the heat of the moment where... I've just got this little thought in my head that maybe Hamlin, because Chastain hasn't done anything stupid throughout the chase. He has not.
No, he's been pretty quiet.
All right. He's been respectful. He hasn't caused any crap. And Hamlin has watched that, even though, yes,
Their history.
he's pissed at him. But I also think that Hamlin also knows that part of the reason why he's not going into the championship
is his pit crew.
is the performance of his
pit crew.
His
sucks.
pit crew. His pit crew F's up left and right all the time. It's almost on a race-by-race
That might be a
basis.
thing, too, on the offseason. They're going to either swap pit crews or members, or he completely get a new crew, because this year he has the most penalties ever, his crew.
It's every time you turn around, there's something going on with his pit crew, penalty-wise. I'm going to give you my unvarnished what I think. I think Hamlin won't mess with him. I think
I don't think it'll mess with him, but I also think if he has to pass Denny, he's gonna make it super fucking difficult.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's where I was getting at. Yeah.
It depends. It depends on where Christopher Bell is.
I think regardless. I think it's regardless.
And Chastain needs to get by Hamlin to get to Bell. Okay, great. Like you said, Mark, he's going to make that bumper 10 feet wide.
He's going to make it regardless. This is Denny's last hoorah, fuck you of the year. He's going to make it hard to pass. Denny's going to make it hard to pass no matter what, regardless of where Bell's at. He doesn't want Ross to win.
Difficult than he did 12 weeks ago.
Yeah, because he's had to sit on issues, but I still think he's going to make it difficult no matter what.
Okay.
Because regardless if Bell's in the running or not, that's one more position for him to win a championship. Because that could be the one spot.
That's my point. I don't put it excuse me. I don't put it past him to make life really, really difficult.
Yeah.
If Bell's in front of Hamlin and Chastain is behind him and he's trying to hold him up, he'll be a team player.
Yeah.
But if Bell's not at all in the mix, that takes all bets off, and I don't think Denny wants to be the complete asshole. And again, I also base my change of thinking off of Hamlin's response after the race this week, where, he was like, he could have been like Larson or Elliott, what an asshole type stuff. He was just like in stunned amazement and almost adoration, like, wish I'd have thought of that. So
yeah. He will be under team orders, and I can guarantee you Christopher Bell is going to be up front all day, and it'll be just like F1. They'll have team orders, and if he needs to slow somebody down, he's going to slow somebody down.
Agreed.
I just hope it's not in full-on dipshit mode.
Well, like I said, to me, Denny's actions will depend on positioning of Christopher Bell and Ross Chastain. And not only that, but Elliott and Logano too. Because if Hamlin can help Bell get the championship, there's three guys out there that and Martin Truex,
Oh, they'll all do it except for Kyle. He's not going to care.
Yeah, he's like, you know what?
Pass
Fuck
me,
you.
bud.
I'm
Pass
gonna
me.
go home and drink beer.
Go home. Now, if we're done with that, do you think William Byron is going to finally react his revenge on Joey Logano? Because he said he owes him one from earlier in the year at Darlington.
Darlington?
You know how Jeff Gordon says he owes him one? Byron says he owes him one. He hasn't done it yet, so we've been waiting and waiting and waiting. So will he do that in the championship and cost Joey? Because there hasn't been.
I don't think William Byron will do that because Papa Hendrick will frown on it.
It'll be the same thing it'll be the same message to those guys from Rick that's similar to the message that I told you Junior said he has given to his drivers. We're going to do this respectfully. You're going to do it professionally, and you're not going to tarnish our team. And
it'll be
so
this.
I don't see it.
I mean, Byron. Again, I won't go into as much detail. It'll depend on Elliott's
situation,
position, and Logano's position. It's almost the same thing as Hamlin. If Byron has a chance to hold up Logano, it's going to be a fun race to watch. It really is. But you're right, Brian, to bring that up. I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios that could play out. And then what happens if I'll tell you, the one besides Chastain, the one guy out of this group that would pull that Chastain move is Logano, because he was so impressed with that.
Oh, yeah. Same thing with Briscoe. He was super impressed by it too.
Logano is Logano. I don't like him. Remember back in the day? Remember the Looney Tunes cartoon with the chicken hawk and the little buzzards and then the one that didn't want to fly? No. He sits there with his squinty eyes and he looks with his glasses and he looks like that buzzard. And he'll pull something stupid. And he'll run out of talent and he'll wreck half the field like he always does. That's just me. I will throw up in my shoe if Joey Logano wins. Can't help it.
Well, like I said, he would of this group. I don't think Elliott would do it. I don't think Bell would do it. I think Logano and Chastain. Well, Chastain's already proved he'll do it, but I think Logano watched that and he's like, memory bank.
It would be absolutely fan-fucking-tastic to see the end of the race and you have Logano and Chastain like Darlington with Craven and Bush.
Yeah.
Down the
wall. The finish line, yes.
That would be awesome. But that's not how I think it's going to finish. So,
well, I don't either. And I almost think that there'll be a non-championship contender win the race.
Yep, you're with me. That's exactly what I think.
So,
and there better be. I want to see those guys. I want to see somebody be competitive, want to start their fire. A win is a win. A win is a win. Don't lay down for these guys. Oh, here comes. Don't pull a Mark Martin and go, oh, there's so-and-so. They're fast. Let them back in.
All right, we've come to the part. Who's going to win the championship? And I'll go first. It's going to be Chastain.
Fan favorite.
Just throw up in your mouth a little bit.
No.
Who you picking?
No, Brian goes next. I got to find my notes. I lost it.
I'm going to go with my original one, Elliott.
All right.
I think Elliott, he's won the championship at that track in the Final Four. He has experience. He has the car. They're gonna pull their notes. They're gonna do everything they can. They're gonna put. He's the only Hendrick guy, right? So they're gonna put all resources on him. So with all that, I think it's gonna be Chase. They're gonna do anything they can.
I don't deny that.
All of these teams are going to throw everybody at those teams, and I'm with you. I picked Chase Elliott. So this is the segment of my notes, Dave, where I was. If you look over my shoulder next to the lava lamp, the bottle of Buffalo Trace, which is what we call Tatanka. I'd had a couple of Buffalo Traces last night and a really nice cigar, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about championship picks, and I said, Chase Elliott, calm, cool, stick to business, ride the wave. I said, Christopher Bell is hot. He has been, and would be not surprised to see him out front because he's been really consistent, and his crew chief has made some amazing strategy calls. They've got some engineers on that booth that have been calculative in the things that they do. So I would not be surprised to see Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott 1-2 in the standings when it's all said and done. And I've got a note here that says Logano will do stupid shit, freaking guaranteed. And then the next line says Chastain and Logano will wreck each other. So,
Wow.
yep. I would love to see.
They'll go right in the wall.
Well, yeah. What are you going to do next? On the wall? I don't know, but that's where I'm at. So the fire horn will reign in Georgia.
I think so.
He's
Yeah.
done. Yeah,
Okay.
I think this is where calm, cool, and collectiveness is going to kick in and be just as dominant as he was last year at this time, 2 years ago.
2 years. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm the odd man out on this one. I just, after what I saw,
I hope you're right.
this week, I
Yeah.
can't go wrong. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I mean, let's face it, Christopher Bell has performed under pressure every single time.
Yeah, but how many times can you do that?
Well, it's 2 so far. You know?
They're riding Mo. They're riding the big momentum train right now. I would not be surprised to see them in not in dominant fashion.
With you, the person that I would be the most surprised with as far as the championship would be Logano. Any of the other 3 would not surprise me at all. At all. I can see either one of them, Bell, Chastain, or Elliott. And it's based on, like you said, it's Bell and Elliott. They've got 3-4 car teams that they can throw all the resources at. I wouldn't even be surprised in the next day or 2 to see a new pit crew assembled for Bell and Elliott. The best of the best.
They've already made those moves. They already made a bunch of those moves 2 weeks ago.
Did they? I did not catch that.
Last week. I can't remember the whole scenario, but Christopher Bell got some of the 18 crew.
No wonder he's pissed.
Well, his crew chief's been gone, because they lost that wheel. So he's cashed it in. So we'll see. All I know is I put $25 down in February, for Blaney to win the whole thing. So I was a little bummed, and I'm really probably the biggest disappointment of the season to me was Ryan Blaney, that he didn't even get a win. But he's kind of screwed himself, and
he should have won Daytona. He should have took the win on Daytona instead of Cindric.
Agreed.
Yeah, we've been surprised all year too that Blaney couldn't pull one out somewhere. In fact, he was one of my final 4 for the chase, even though he didn't have a win at the time we entered the final.
But if you look at it, if it wasn't for the strategy, Logano, the Penske Fords have not been good. Yeah, I mean, Cindric, of course, with Daytona, but you can't take the plate races and figure that into strategy. And more times than not, it's luck. We all know that.
Yeah. Well, the only other one that shined on the Ford camp, Buescher's got a win. But, Harvick went back-to-back, Michigan, Pocono?
And then right after that, what happened?
Nothing.
No, they got busted. It was right after Michigan that they got busted with the buffers underneath the wraps.
No, that was Hamlin and Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
What was Harvick's big fine? They got busted for something. It was he got busted.
It was something with the fender, right? No?
Was it?
Yes.
Oh,
they got busted with it. They
got
busted.
The under the wrap front nose thing was
that
JGR.
was Toyota.
Yeah.
But Kevin Harvick, right after he got that big mow and won those races, then they got slapped with something.
Okay.
Doesn't matter now. But yeah, Fords have been struggling for the most part.
They have really been struggling. Logano is the only one that's made it through, and that's because he punched his ticket with a win. And Blaney, I like I said, if you'd asked me, your bet for $25 on him to win I would have probably ponied up with that one too, because I've been saying all year long and all through the brackets, I've kept Blaney in because I just figured he'd pull something out of his ass sooner or later. It just hasn't happened. Watch, he'll go out and win Phoenix.
Harvick got fined 100 points, lost crew chief for 4 races for modifications of a single source supplied part on October 5th.
Yeah, they didn't say what it was.
Right after Bristol. Yeah, but it was something arrow. So, but anyways, hey, we're stretching the boundaries. I love it.
Hey, there you go. All right, guys.
One last thing is you know how they do the most popular driver of the year? You think Chase is going to lose it now to Ross? That was one thing I thought of too. Ross's move, you think?
Nah,
no?
I don't. I think it'll still be
with all
Chase.
the new fans that could possibly be voting now. They're gonna see it and just, oh, who's all the other ones? Oh, I know Ross. I know what he did. Click.
Nope.
No.
Chase.
Yeah, it'll be Chase. But it wouldn't surprise me that you bring it up that Ross, because you got all the Denny haters that'll vote for him. I don't know. We'll see. That would almost be earth-shattering news if he did win that. That'd be a whole episode. But
yeah.
All right, guys. Mark, you want anything in closing to say, or?
Thanks for having me hang out. It's fun. Like old times.
I hope you had a good time. Brian?
No, I'm good.
Invite me back sometime.
Yeah. We'll see what we can do on that. Everybody, like Brian says, we're on all platforms. YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, fill in the blank, Brian. I mean, we're everywhere.
Just search Burn It Down NASCAR podcast on Google. It'll literally be the first link or wherever you see. And like I said, just search it on any of the...
Just tell me you don't have OnlyFans.
Yeah, no. Nope.
Cool.
Not yet.
Thanks.
No. But like I said, you gotta search it's there. YouTube, if you want to see the video portion, and it's on if you want to on the go with any audio platform, you can pull it up on your phone. Just gotta search it, and we're there.
Oh, I just saw something else I did want to bring up before we go. I whipped your ass in food.
I didn't even look.
I had a 226. You had a 217. Mark,
whoop my ass! Oh, what the fuck?
Don't happen very often where I beat him in the fantasy league, but I did it again. That's 2 weeks in a row. I'm on a roll.
Who's in the lead?
Nice.
Oh, you are by like 350 fucking points, but whatever.
Yeah. I win.
I'm like Chastain. I'll take a win when I get it.
Right.
So, all right, buddy. Take us out of here.
Who, me?
Yeah.
We're out. We're done, huh? Let me play the music, I guess. Let me get that going.
Peace, fellas. Thanks a lot. I appreciate the time.
We appreciate you.